Hey guys, so in my last video, I asked if you were interested in seeing a review of this Kilian, the new collection set, and I was surprised how many of you guys were, so we're gonna do this today. What I'm gonna do in this video is start by kind of giving you a rundown of each of these in case you only want one versus the set. And then in the second half of this video, I do want to have a discussion about not just why this brand that's known for their $300 perfumes has suddenly released these much more affordable products and the way the community has been responding to it. So this set retails for $50 and it does contain all four of the new collection from Kilian, which is available at Sephora and from what I've heard, ASOS as well. These are all supposedly 0.25 fluid ounces, but they do look different from the purse sprays that you can see on the Sephora website. However, they both claim to be the same volume. It's a little strange. And it also is kind of hard to ignore that if you are interested in at least two of these, considering they sell for $30 for that same amount of product, this is $50. This seems like quite a no-brainer to me. But all that said, I do think that some of these scents are going to appeal to some people more than others. And what I'm going to try to do, I feel like fragrance is so weird to review because you have absolutely nothing to go off of other than the way somebody's describing it. Like, you can't see anything about a scent. But you know, we'll see how much I agree with the notes. I do want to talk about longevity as well. So first up we have Princess. Now, I'm just going to use the abbreviated name for all of these and address the full names later. This one claims to be ginger, green tea, and marshmallow. I actually really enjoy this. I think this is my favorite out of all of them. It's a bit of a confusing scent though, because if you smell it in the bottle, you actually do smell the ginger, green tea, and marshmallow, but when you spray it on your skin, you just get this flooded sensation of marshmallow. It really takes over for a while. Then once the scent kind of settles, you do smell all of those notes. It's a very sweet smell. It's been compared to Prada's Candy a lot, which I agree with, but I think this is definitely more unique. And in all fairness, I do see where people are coming from with that comparison because it has a similar vibe to Candy, but again, emphasis on the fact that it is more unique. One other really nice thing about this scent is that it has a surprising amount of staying power in a very light way. So while you're overwhelmed with that marshmallow scent initially, it just kind of mellows out and you get this sweet but unique, almost quirky type of scent. I think its staying power is amazing and it's not too strong. It's still got a little like soft edge to it. So yeah, overall, I'd have to say this is my favorite. Some people have compared it to Black Opium, and I don't agree with that particular one at all. But take that how you will, because I don't really love Black Opium. It's okay, but I don't love it. All right, let's talk about Kissing next. So this one is supposed to be Lily of the Valley, Hot Milk, and Sugar Candy. I do really like this initially because I like the smell of milky things. Less regular milk and more like milk chocolate, hot cocoa, oatmeal. That might be strange, I don't know. What they're calling Lily of the Valley to me is just kind of translating to a floral scent, so kind of more maybe along those lines of Le'Veon Bell. But again, like all of these, it's a little more unique. There's definitely a characteristic to this that makes it stand out from other perfumes. I can't compare it to anything directly. With this one, I feel like I initially like the scent of it more than Princess because it kind of starts out more unique, but the problem I have with this is this one for me does not have staying power. This will be very soft for a couple of hours and then it's gone, and I guess to me that's just a little disappointing, and I feel like I can get that in a lot of much more affordable body sprays. There's a lot of good scents out there that are just, you know, Bath and Body Works. It's just that they don't last that long. And for something that's an eau de parfum, I expect it to last a little longer than Kissing does. So while I like the scent, I think it is unique, I think it is nice, I'm disappointed in the staying power. Okay, Boys is next, and this is the one that, at the very least, I would need to be in a very specific mood to pull this off. The notes on this one are cola, cinnamon, and cedarwood. It is very strange to come across a perfume that smells like cola. That's odd. It's unique though. However, this one is definitely getting onto the masculine side. I think that I think some females could pull this off really well, but I don't feel like this is going to compliment me on a day where I'm wearing, you know, my bright pink pastel wigs and completely femmed out. It wouldn't work for me. So this is my least favorite only because of that. But I don't dislike it as a scent. I think it's actually quite unique. I do think that, you know what this one is? This is one you should not blind buy. I do feel like there are going to be some women who love this, and there's going to be men who love it as well, but it's very strong. The staying power on this is even better than Princess. This will be with you the entire day. But I guess in wearing a really strong fragrance, you have to know if you're prepared for that. And then we have adults, and this one suffers from the same problem to me as Kissing, where it just doesn't last long enough, and it's a shame because this one smells really unique as well. This is the scent that if you are kind of looking to get a little bit more adventurous with your scents, I feel like this could potentially be a really good place to start. It's got this very strong fig note, but it's also got a very strong spice note, and together it just really stands out. Like, this is not the kind of scent where I could say, oh, I know exactly who wears this. This is one where I would say, who wears that? Because I want to know her. Unfortunately, this one has the worst longevity of all four of them. I mean, if you are looking for a really, really unique scent and you don't mind keeping this in your bag, you could absolutely love this. But again, for me, why was there not a little more staying power? But all that said, I absolutely love this set, and I do think it's very much worth the $50, and even more so if you get it at 20% off. But I have a feeling that you're probably not going to gravitate towards all four of the scents, and I think that's the case when you buy any fragrance set. Okay, so let's talk about why and how a brand went from having only $300 scents to releasing these fragrances, which I believe their full size is $135. There's a smaller size at $75, and then each of the little purse sprays are $30. The backstory here is that Kilian either sold or is pending sale to the gigantic corporation of Estee Lauder, and apparently a stipulation that Estee Lauder had put on the brand in order to buy them was that they needed to up their profits. You know, I think it's always funny, and I've been trying to talk about this more and more, but there really are a greater potential for profits in lower priced products solely because of accessibility than in higher priced products as a general rule. And apparently it was Estee Lauder who said you need to release a more affordable line, and that is what Kilian did. This is the end result. And apparently another stipulation with this is that their $300 or $295 fragrances are going to go up by $20. What I think was so interesting to me about this is that, you know, of course there was a minor backlash about the $20 price increase, but I was really quite floored by how many people disagree with Kilian releasing this. The thing is, the makeup community, while it kind of overlaps a lot with the skincare world, I feel like makeup and skincare are very separate from the fragrance world, which is, in my opinion, it seems very male-dominated. The first criticism with this is one that I do kind of agree with. I do think the names are very annoying. So they do have the abbreviated names that I've been using up until this point, but they, for whatever reason, Kilian / Estee Lauder decided to give these horrendous and long names. Let me read you the worst one. We'll just get it out of the way. Bad boys are no good, but good boys are no fun. Oh, the thing is, if you are a guy wearing this scent, or even if you're a girl wearing this scent, are you really going to want to take the time when somebody asks you what you're wearing to say all that? No, and you're not. Not only are you not going to want to take the time, you really aren't going to want to tell them, oh yes, I'm wearing bad boys are no good, but good boys are no fun. Ugh. So yeah, there's a big disconnect in a, what are they doing sense, but overall, I think it's a good idea to release a collection at a price point that allows for greater accessibility. That's considerate. And I think that's what surprised me the most, is there seems to be a big backlash in the fragrance community of people who think that Kilian should not have made themselves more accessible. There's a comment in here that says, ugh, blah, it smells like something from Sephora. What? And no, it's not everybody. I don't want to make this into everybody who's a Kilian fan is acting like this, because somebody here said, it smells like something from Sephora. Come on, that's just pointless snobbery. Thank you. Come on. There are very, very few people in this world who would possibly think Sephora, Dollar General, semantics. How pretentious, goodness. But then there's another long-winded comment that I do have to address because in spite of, again, not everybody agreeing with this, there are people agreeing with this. I love by Kilian fragrances. I had high hopes for these. Before I even sampled them though, there was a bad taste in my mouth. It tasted like, let's make a more attainable fragrance for younger people with less disposable income. And then our corporation will make more money. Okay, I gotta address this here. Yes, but that's business. Sometimes I think that people get too wrapped up in this idea of protecting their brands and making sure they don't sell out. Brands don't actually have they're not your friends. They sometimes carry this image of being your friends, but they're not. They are businesses. But in saying that, that doesn't mean that they in any way need to be exclusive. In fact, the more inclusive they are, the better it will work out for them. Okay, fair, but there is something condescending in that approach. Customers are smart enough to know when it is happening. Marketing keeps getting more gimmicky. The impression I get is that the brand is selling out. And here's where, just bear with me. If you are a luxury brand, your job is to be desirable and to protect your luster. The luster of By Kilian is less shiny after this release. It turns the brand into something more common and banal. This right here is textbook classism, and I think it's so bizarre, and I want to talk about this because I think this is the last semi-acceptable, semi-socially acceptable ism. Can you imagine if instead of this comment being about price points, it was about gender or race? And yet, in this situation, he's getting this support from people who are saying, yeah, there shouldn't be $30 products from Kilian. How to cheapen the brand 101. And I think the best part about this whole comment is he ended up liking one of these scents, but he can't bring himself to actually use it because of all of his inherent classism. So it's just so interesting. It's something that, I've seen little glimpses of this in the fragrance world, but I don't think I'd ever seen such a good illustration before this situation, because it is true that this brand has never released anything under, I believe, $80. This same set right here from their previous line with this quantity of liquid was $220 before. And it's so funny because, Versace makes these $3,000 dresses. You can also walk into Sephora and buy a $28 rollerball. So somewhere along this way, people are aware that this is going on, but to see a backlash like this, normally people have just already accepted it. So it's all really interesting, just talking points that I wanted to bring up. I don't have a solution to this. I just think it's utterly absurd. And frankly, I think that Kilian did make the right choice. How am I not going to support accessibility? I think it's great. My problem is I think that they could have put more thought into the way they advertise this, into the names of it, but it's kind of in an interesting middle ground because I think the packaging currently looks so sleek and sophisticated, but if you read those names, if you're in your late 20s, into your 30s, you don't want to tell people you're wearing, I don't need a prince by my side to be a princess. So ultimately, I feel like Kilian kind of missed the mark on doing this collection in a way that would appeal to people more, maybe because maybe they tried for too broad of a demographic. Maybe they're trying to stay in a range of people who are into their 30s but still on a budget, and also appeal to the 14-year-olds with these names. And does that kind of create this situation where it doesn't perfectly suit anybody? Kind of. So anyway, I feel like this is probably a longer video than I intended for it to be, but I just wanted to have this conversation. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Are you guys really following the fragrance world, and have you noticed this kind of conversation before? Because I don't feel like we have as much lingering classism in makeup. Sometimes we do. Sometimes we do when we get into talking about drugstore versus high-end. But I think that generally we've really moved quite past that. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. If you did, please make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and peace out, YouTube.